Hi guys, and happy Monday. Today is May 18th. This is for Math 2. And today we're going to be looking at the surface area of Prism. So we already did volume. Remember, volume is what's on the inside. Surface area is the area of each of the faces of a three-dimensional shape added together. So if I were to paint a shape, I want to know how much paint would I need on that outside part, okay? So we're going to look first at a rectangular prism. Here I have a rectangular prism. Why is it called a rectangular prism? Because the base is a rectangle, and you can see there's another rectangle behind it, exactly the same, and it's separated by this, what I like to call thickness, okay? So we're not doing the same thing as we did with volume. We're finding all of the shapes. So if you look at this here, I want you to look at this. This is our rectangular prism. So you'll notice there's this one on the front. There's always a matching one on the back. There's this one here. There's always a matching one on the back. There's this one here. There's always a matching one on the back, okay? So we have basically 3 sets of shapes, okay? And that's how we're gonna find this. So I'm gonna color code this. Hopefully this will help a little bit. So I'm gonna start with the front side right here. It doesn't matter where you start, by the way. That's just where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with this shape right here. And I'm gonna find the area of that shape. It is a rectangle, okay? So I'm gonna do the area. I'll just box it in purple so I know that that's the one that I'm finding the area of. So for that one, the base is 10 times the height is 11. So it's just length times width or base times height, whatever you want to call it. That gives me 110 area for that shape. Now remember, on the back side, there's one just like it. So I'm just going to add this one at the bottom. This is the back side that's just like it. Okay. If you want to label, I do that sometimes. You can say this is the area of the front and this is the area of the back, if that's helpful to you. Okay. So that's that. Okay. Now let's look at another side. So I'll use a different color to keep us separate here. So let's just look at this side over here. Okay, so this side over here is also a rectangle. You have to decide what kind of shape it is. It's also a rectangle. I'm going to color code it so you can see that. Maybe I'll call this the area of the right side. You want to name it because it's on the right side. So the base on this one is 4, and the height is this 11 that was over here. So that gives me 44. And remember that the left side over here, that would be this part right here, is exactly the same. So I have another 44. I'll just put that's the area of the left side. Okay, and then I have one more piece I can find here, this top part. Okay, so I'll find the area of that one as well. So I'll call that area of the top. So the top is this piece right here, which is the 4 from down here. And this piece right here, which is the 10 from down here. That's the top. And then remember on the bottom right here, you can see through it, it's the exact same shape. So I have another one. And I'll just call that BO for bottom because I'll call this BA for back. Okay. So then I have 6 faces and I have 6 numbers. You should always have the same amount of numbers as you have faces. And these will come in handy with this because you can count how many faces you should have. Okay. And so to find the surface area, I'm literally just going to add them all up. That's it. So surface area, I'm going to add them all together. So I can add them individually if I want to make it a little easier. So 110 plus 110 is 220. 44 plus 44 is 88. 40 plus 40 is 80. So I can add up 220 plus the 88 plus the 80. And that gives me a surface area of 388. And this is area. So we're going to use centimeters, but it's going to be centimeters squared because it's area. And there's my surface area. So I think colors or naming them like I did really helps you keep it organized. Otherwise, you forget which ones you've already done. Okay. Let's look at another one. Let's look at a cube. So a cube is just like a rectangular prism, except all of the sides are the same. So it makes it a little bit easier on us. So this is a cube right here. So there are still 6 sides to a cube, but they're all exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to find the area of my shape. So I'll just go with this one. Doesn't really matter because they're all the same, right? I'll just go with this one. So the area of that one there is going to be 5 times 5, as you can tell. Base is 5 here, and height is 5. So that's 25. And because this is a cube, they're all the same. How do I know it's a cube? Because they all have 5s, all of them. So there are 6 faces. So if I want to make my life easier, I could just multiply by 6. In this case, because it's a cube and everything is exactly the same. So if I do that, I can multiply 25 by 6 and I get 150 as my surface area, and it's kilometers and it's area, so that's squared. There you go. So it makes it a little bit easier when it's a cube because they're all exactly the same. Now you can find the area of all of them individually, but you're going to get 25, 6 of them. Let's look at one more, the triangular prism. Exactly the same. We're just pulling it apart into shapes, okay? So we'll start with anything. It doesn't really matter. So let me just start with this front triangle here. Doesn't matter where I start. I'm going to start here. So I'm going to say finding the area of the triangle. And the area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2. So the base is 6 times the height is 8 divided by 2 because it's a triangle. So this is the area of the purple one. Just keep my colors in order. So 6 times 8 is 48 divided by 2 is 24. And then remember that I have the exact same shape on the other side. So I have another 24 as well. Okay? So I have 48 just with those. Okay, let's find another shape. So we'll just do this shape right here next. I'm not going to color it in. You'll see why in a little bit because it gets a little messy with these ones. Okay, so that shape, to find the area, that's a square, a rectangle, excuse me. So here's 10 on this side and 5 on this side. So 10 by 5, which is 50. Now there is only one like that. All the other ones are different. So there's only one like that. Okay. I also have this one here in the back. And this is a little bit where it gets a little weird. That's why it's kind of, but see that one there? If I want to call this, I guess I could call it the right side of the shape. So this, maybe I call it the left side. It doesn't really matter what you want to call it, but just so you keep it organized. So the area of the left side there, it's going to be 8. And it's a rectangle, so 8 by this piece, which is actually this piece over here, the 5, which is 40. And there's only one of those. And then there's one more shape. But again, this shape, again, I know that they all kind of like overlap a little, so it's a little weird, okay? So there's this one also at the bottom. So see that one there? The other side is right here, but it's a little hard to see. Okay, so that one at the bottom, so I have one more area of another rectangle. I'll just call it VO for bottom. Doesn't really matter, just as long as you can keep your work straight. So the bottom is 6 by 5, and it's a rectangle again, so 6 by 5 is 30. So you can see here, here's a triangular prism. So you'll see there's 1, 2, those are always the same, and then there's 1, 2, 3 rectangles. You should end up having 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So here are my 2 triangles, and here are my 3 rectangles. So to find the surface area, I'm just going to add them all together. So I already added those. That's 48 plus 50, 40, and 30. So I'm going to add those all up together. 50 plus 40 is 90, plus 30 is 120, plus 48 is 168. And it's area, so it's inches squared. And there you go. It's a little bit easier when you color coordinate things, but that's that. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to contact me through Remind, email, Google Classroom, or show up on Zoom. Have a great day, guys.